who is embroiled in more scandals in the Trump administration than Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. And that's saying a lot for a scandal-ridden administration. I mean, you've got the sex scandal swirling around Kristi Noem, another sex scandal swirling around the Labor Secretary, the child sex trafficking scandal and cover-up of the cover-up by the Trump administration, and the list goes on. And now you've got Howard Lutnick right in the middle of it. Besides the fact he's pissing everybody off in the administration because of his grandstanding, he's also pissing off Donald Trump, according to reporting, who's not happy that there's a family profiting on the Trump brand that's not named Donald Trump or his family. And now that there's been reporting that the family office that Howard Lutnick used to own and now has his two 30-year-old sons run for him, called Cantor Fitzgerald, that it profited to the tune of 25% increase just last year, 2025. According to reporting in Politico, there was a fallout between Trump and Lutnick about how much money his family's making off the back of Donald Trump. Now you've got the latest scandal, inconsistent with how much money the family is making, is the fact that it looks like they bet against the tariffs, the very tariffs that Daddy Lutnick was busy telling the American people back in April of 2025 would be their liberation day and would be their ticket and path to success, at the same time probably knowing that the United States Supreme Court was going to rip down those tariffs. Daddy Lutnick's company bet against the tariffs. In other words, they were willing to buy from people who had to overpay for refunds that were eventually found to be unconstitutional, buy them for cents on the dollar, an arbitrage, if you will. Oh, you got $10 million in refund coming your way? We'll give you $3 million for it. We'll keep the other $7 million. We'll give you instant cash now. We'll hold on to the rest. And now Jamie Raskin, who's the ranking member of the House Democrats and the Judiciary Committee, has opened up a investigation into Mr. Lutnick, sending a strongly worded letter calling him in for testimony, along with his son, Brandon. I'm Michael Popak. You're on the Midas Touch Network. Full disclosure, I used to work at Cantor Fitzgerald about 6 years ago. I don't have any insider knowledge about this story, but I did work for Howard Lutnick. All right, let's move on in the storytelling on Lutnick. Seems to be rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. No surprise there within the administration. He was the head of Trump's transition team to come into the White House. He really wanted the Treasury Secretary position, and he didn't get it. His consolation prize, all to our detriment, is he got the Commerce Secretary position. But he's had a kind of a sandpapery relationship with many people in the administration because of his grandstanding. He tries to take credit for trade deals and other deals that are not his, or he comes in at the last minute not really understanding the full details, and then everybody's got to clean up behind the elephant, clean up the mess that he's created. He's also having difficulty delivering on Donald Trump's promise to the American people of an $18 trillion foreign investment in America because of the use of the tariffs. Of course, that number keeps dwindling, and it looks like a lot of that number is not going to manifest itself or is connected to Joe Biden's presidency. So besides the fact he can't deliver on the $18 trillion of investment, or he points to projects that were actually created under some other president's watch, now we've got the profiting on the unconstitutionality of a very thing that he was a champion of. Who can forget, because he won't let you forget, how many times Howard Lutnick has gone on CNBC and other news media to talk about how great the tariffs are. Who can forget this? Play the clip.
When we say we're going to charge a tariff, and other countries who lean on us, who rely on us, who can't live without the oxygen that is our economy. Because remember, the thing about our economy is, while we have a $29 trillion GDP, we are the consumer of 20 trillion.
Yeah, right.
And this is the key thing. We buy everybody's stuff. So who's more important? Let's say they have an economy that produces stuff, and we have an economy that buys stuff. The customer is always right. We all know the customer is always right, because if no one buys it, they can't produce it.
Right.
So everybody needs our economy. When? Now. I mean, to the fact that China consumes less than 10 trillion and primarily tries to figure out how to sell it to itself, right? So they don't buy anybody else's stuff.
Right.
So we are the world's consumer.
Yes.
We're the world's customer. We want them to come here. And if they can't come here, what if you pay us?
Well, Jamie Raskin, friend of the pod, is not ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee, is not forgetting, and he wrote a letter. Now, this is follow-up to a letter and an inquiry that was made several months ago by Elizabeth Warren in the Senate, in which there was word coming out of a magazine called Wired, sort of an expose, that they had gotten their hands on an actual Cantor Fitzgerald letterhead document sent out that suggested or indicated that they had already done a trade, that they had bought maybe $10 million worth of tariff refunds for cents on the dollar. And yet, every spokesperson at Cantor Fitzgerald and Howard Lutnick's own office denied that that happened. And Raskin wants answers. He says, for months, Cantor Fitzgerald has reportedly been buying up the rights to collect potential tariff refunds from American importers for 20 to 30 cents on the dollar, in effect betting that the company would be forced to refund those tariffs back to injured American companies. A letter from the firm, Cantor Fitzgerald, reviewed by Wired, described this approach in detail, that they would pay cents on the dollar. The same letter boasted that the firm had already put a trade through representing about $10 million of IEPA rights, the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, and that the capacity to trade up to several $100 million of these are likely and can upsize even that. So which is it, Lutnick and Cantor Fitzgerald? Are you not doing the deals, or have you already done the deals? Here's what he says on page 2. At the same time, Secretary Lutnick, you've been a key architect and cheerleader in chief of the administration's tariff policy. You participated in the losing strategy of bypassing Congress to unilaterally impose tariffs, and you had an insider's view of the tariffs' profound legal vulnerability, the administration's weak litigation hand. In other words, you had inside knowledge that they were going to fail. That potential conflict of interest raises some troubling questions of federal ethics and insider trading. Was the Lutnick family's cornering of the market in this doomed endeavor a mere coincidence or something more orchestrated?